What up, guys? This is Cheevo Guides back here again with another achievement guide. Today we're going to be focusing on Z-Warp. This game is published by Eastasiasoft and it was developed by Panda Indie Studio. This game is a shoot 'em up game. It's $6.99. I'd say it's going to take anywhere from about 45 minutes to an hour and a half to get the full 1000G or Platinum Trophy. Definitely skill dependent. If you consider yourself good at shoot 'em up games, I'd say about 45 minutes, and if you're not, I'd say an hour and a half. I think the average person will take about an hour though. And in terms of price, it's $6.99. Now, the achievements do require us to complete the game. The game has 5 stages in total. Now, I know completing the game may sound intimidating. However, I'd say this shoot 'em up game is a little bit on the easier side compared to some of the more hardcore ones. With a little bit of practice, it's definitely possible. And if you're running into any problems or having trouble with any specific areas, I'm going to leave my footage so that you guys can get some tips and tricks off of it or maybe see how I completed it. So yeah, we have a couple achievements that are related to progressing through the game. We get an achievement after clearing stage 1, 2, 3, 4, and then once you complete stage 5, you would get the achievement for completing the story mode. Now, aside from completing the story mode, we also need to score at least 500,000 in the story mode. Now, what I recommend doing is playing the story mode on the easiest difficulty. Go ahead and try to complete the story on easy, and then you're going to want to try to get your 500,000 points in a separate run. Just because on easy, you're locked to a 4x multiplier. On medium, you can go up to 8x, and then on hard, you can go up to a 16x multiplier. So it's much easier to just dive into story mode on hard and play about a level and a half to get the 500,000, just because you got that 16x multiplier. And then hopefully by the time you complete the game on easy, you'll be skilled enough to go ahead and complete a level and a half on hard. So first thing you want to do is complete the game on easy. After that, go back into the story mode on hard and get your achievement for scoring 500,000 in story mode. Aside from that, we have one achievement related to endless mode. We're going to need to play endless mode and get at least 500,000. Just keep in mind that when you play endless mode, it plays on a random difficulty. So sometimes it'll have you play on medium and sometimes it'll have you play on hard. Obviously, if you're playing on hard, you can get up to that 16x multiplier, which makes it easier to get 500,000. But also keep in mind that if you die, it resets your score. So you're going to need to be able to be good enough to get, about a level and a half through without dying. Or if you're playing on medium with that 8x multiplier, you'd probably need to get all the way to level 4 to be able to score 500,000. But that's basically what it comes down to, guys. You guys need to complete the story mode on easy. Again, it's 5 stages in total. Then you're going to want to go back to the story mode and score 500,000. It's easiest to do that on hard mode. Again, it only takes about a level and a half if you're playing on hard. And then you need to go into endless mode and score 500,000 there as well. As long as you do that, you're sure to get all of the achievements. We do have some other achievements, but they're all going to follow. For instance, we get an achievement after killing 100 enemies, 500 enemies, and then finally 1,000 enemies. We also get an achievement after getting 10 power-ups, 25 power-ups, and then finally 50 power-ups. And then we have achievements related to defeating bosses. We get an achievement after defeating 5 bosses, 10 bosses, and then finally 15 bosses. Now, obviously these achievements and trophies are cumulative, meaning they add up over multiple playthroughs because there's only 5 bosses in the game. So as you play multiple runs, you're probably going to get at least 1 boss battle through, potentially even up to 5 boss battles in a run, and basically you would need to play the game a minimum of 3 times to be able to play 15 boss battles. Now trust me, you're going to be playing through this game multiple times. Let me talk about how the continue system works. Now, with like most shoot 'em ups, if you die, you get an opportunity to continue. Now, a couple things about continuing. First and foremost, it resets your score. Second, you only get a set amount of continues, and the way that these work is a little bit special compared to other games. Now, basically, what you got to do is get to boss 1, and once you get to boss 1, it unlocks 1 continue. And then if you've made it to the second boss at least 1 time before, you'll get another continue. And then if you make it all the way to the 3rd boss, you'll get a 3rd continue. And then as you can imagine, if you make it to the 4th boss, you'll get a 4th continue. And basically, you need to reach that level to be able to get that continue. And moving forward, you'll have those continues. So let's say you start the game and you make it to the 2nd boss. Well, next time you play the game, you'll have 2 continues. But that first time, you'll have 0 continues. And basically, this allows you to get a little bit farther each time you play the game. And basically, however many bosses you defeat in a run is how many continues you end up getting moving forward. So just know at first you're not going to be able to have any continues, but as you reach bosses, you're going to rack up those continues, and they're there to stay for all future runs. Now, aside from that, you need to learn how to use your bombs. You can see how big your bomb is getting with the blue line, and ultimately it will go all the way to the green circle around your ship. But the blue area or the blue line is how far your bomb will spread or damage. If you wait long enough, you can charge it to the max distance, which is the green line, and that will enable your bomb to reach a further distance and attack more enemies. Now, the bombs really have two purposes in this game. One is defeating enemies and doing damage. But in other instances in the game, you want to use it to destroy bullets, because especially in the boss battles, the bosses have certain attacks where you get a wave of bullets and there's no way to avoid them except for using a bomb to destroy those bullets. So if you find yourself in a situation where an enemy or a boss is trying to attack you and you find that their bullets are unavoidable, just remember that you can use your bomb to destroy any bullets that are near you. You can use this in effort to avoid getting hit or attacked. Next, I want to talk about your shooting button. You can either hold it down for a big beam of energy, however you're going to find that you move a lot slower while doing this, or you can go ahead and basically mash it or tap it, and it's going to shoot a bunch of bullets which have a larger range from side to side. So you can basically shoot more enemies when you're mashing it rather than holding it. Just know that when you're holding it, the beam of power is a little bit stronger. So that's the two different ways that you can shoot with your ship. You can either hold it for a big beam, or you could tap it or mash it for basically a bunch of different bullets that basically have a larger reach. Now, in this video, what I'm going to show you is my playthrough from start to finish in story mode on easy. After I did that, I'm going to go ahead and dive back into it on hard to get the 500,000 score. And then after we do that, we're going to dive into endless mode and try to get 500,000 in endless mode as well. I'm going to show you guys all my footage just in case you guys are interested in checking it out and see how I played the game or played certain sections of the game. And I'll also try to get some timestamps for the 500k on story mode and the 500k on endless mode, just in case you want to skip to those achievements. Maybe you're having trouble with those specifically. But that pretty much covers all the tips and tricks I have for you guys in terms of playing this game and also getting all the achievements or trophies in this game. Aside from that, I'm going to go ahead and end the commentary right here as no more commentary is needed. But as always, I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment and don't forget to like and subscribe. Alright guys, so I just completed the game and I got the achievement for beating 15 bosses in total, but of course also got the achievement for basically beating stage 5 and also completing the game. That is the Traveler 5 achievement worth 100 gamer score. Now at this point we should only have 2 or so achievements left. I actually have 3. I have my achievement for getting 50 power ups still, but the other 2 are related to getting high scores. We need to score 500,000 in story mode, but also score 500,000 in endless mode. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dive back into story mode, but this time I'm going to change the difficulty to hardcore. If you play on the hardest difficulty, it allows you to get up to a 16x multiplier. And the first level isn't too hard. You might, need to practice a bit to be able to, basically, try to defeat all of the enemies and get the max score possible out of it. But in my experience, you need to get about a level and a half through on the hardest difficulty to be able to score 500,000. So just be prepared to basically get the first level down perfect and about the first half of the second level. And if you can do that, you should be able to score 500,000 points in story mode. You can also do this on medium, but you would need to nearly play almost the full game. You would end up getting 500,000 in about level 4 or so if you were playing on medium. And again, you need to do this without dying, because if you die and you use a continue, it will reset your score. So you're going to need to be able to get all the way to 500,000 points without dying at all. Make sure you keep an eye out for the power-ups that have an H on them, as those are health power-ups, and it basically gives you an extra heart on the upper right-hand corner of the screen. Each of the hearts represent getting hit at least one time. So if you're interested in checking out my footage and seeing how I did it, go ahead and follow along while I score 500,000 on hard in story mode. And then after that, I'll jump back in with some commentary when we jump into endless mode. Alright guys, as you can see, I went a little bit longer than 500,000. I thought, I'm this far, might as well see what I could get. I ended up with 627,000, and I unlocked the achievement for scoring 500,000 or higher in story mode. At this point, we should only have one achievement or trophy left, and that's for scoring 500,000 in Endless. So just go ahead and dive into Endless mode. It's going to basically put you on a random difficulty. If it's easy, you're only going to be able to get up to a 4x multiplier. If it's on medium, you'll only be able to get up to a 8x multiplier. And if you're playing on hard, it will let you get up to a 16x multiplier. And that's a good way to know, what difficulty you're playing on. Ideally, you want it to be on the hardest difficulty, just because it's way easier to get to 500,000, with that 16x multiplier, as we just learned with the story mode 500k. And basically, we need to do the same thing here, guys. You can do it on medium, but you're nearly going to need to complete the full game, like up to stage 4 without dying, which I think is harder than getting a stage and a half into it on hard. So pretty much the same thing here, guys, except we're on endless mode. So just make sure that you score 500,000, and I'll tune back in at the end of the video. Alright guys, and that's exactly how I scored over 500,000 in endless mode, and that's how I ended up unlocking my final achievement or trophy in the game. And I also completed stage 3. So I went ahead and just died right at the beginning of this stage. And as you may know, with the other achievements, it's not going to pop until you get a game over. So there we go. That's the final achievement worth the final 100 gamer score, giving us the full 1000G out of the full 1000G. As always, I'd like to give a huge thank you to all of my Patreon subscribers. We just hit 16 patrons. I'd like to give a special shout out to everybody in the biggest fan club, including TimG84, AOJ, Kegger101, Kana25, Michael Benksa, Curse Souls, and GamerTagNation.com. As always, I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment, and don't forget to like and subscribe.